In this topic, we're going to look at the pathway of food in our bodies. Have you ever stopped to wonder what happens to the food in your body, what organs it goes through, and why the digestive system's tubes are so long? So by the end of this topic, you should be able to answer the questions: what is digestion? What is mechanical and what is chemical digestion? How is food digested? Which organs does food go through? And how does the alimentary canal fit into your body? So when you see the words in purple, you need to fill these in your notes. So what is digestion? Well, this is the mechanical and chemical process whereby large, complex food molecules are broken down into smaller, simpler, soluble molecules that are used by the body. For example, starch, such as bread, gets broken down by the teeth and enzymes into simpler sugars that are soluble, which means that they can easily dissolve in water. So keywords to remember are large, complex, gets broken down into smaller, simpler, soluble molecules. Now, what is mechanical and what is chemical digestion? So often food that is eaten in quite large pieces. For example, when you bite into a piece of apple. This gets broken up by the teeth and by the churning movements of the alimentary canal. So we call this mechanical digestion. So examples of mechanical digestion are chewing by the teeth and churning in the stomach. Once the pieces of food have been broken up, they need to be broken down into even smaller soluble particles. This is done by chemical digestion, which involves enzymes. And this occurs in the mouth, stomach, and small intestines. So when you chew food, it gets broken down into smaller pieces, and we said that this is mechanical digestion. Enzymes then break it down further into small soluble molecules which can be absorbed. And you've got 3 types of nutrients that get broken down. So we'll look at these again in another lesson. Fats get broken down by the enzyme lipase into glycerol and fatty acids. Proteins get broken down by protease into amino acids. And carbohydrates get broken down by amylase into maltose, which gets broken down into glucose by the enzyme maltase. So which organs does food go through? The alimentary canal is a muscular tube which runs from the mouth to the anus, and it's part of the digestive system. So we call it the through gut because it has an entrance at the mouth and an exit at the anus. The food first passes through the mouth, down the esophagus, into the stomach. From there, it goes into the small intestines, then into the large intestines, and finally out the anus. So such a large structure fits into the body because it's coiled. As the food passes through the alimentary canal, it's broken down step by step into its simplest form so that it can be absorbed into the bloodstream. Do you know how long it takes for the food to travel all the way through the alimentary canal? It's about 12 to 24 hours. So remember to fill these words in your notes. Can you think of a reason why the digestive system needs to be so long? Well, this is so that there's more time for digestion to occur and absorption of the nutrients into the bloodstream. So let's have a look at the different components of the digestive system. You've got the oral cavity, which includes the mouth, tongue, and salivary glands. Then you've got the esophagus. Now, food does not pass through the liver, but the liver is part of the digestive system. Attached to the liver is a small structure called the gallbladder, and it's got a gallbladder duct which secretes bile into the small intestine. So food goes down the esophagus into the stomach. Now, the pancreas is also part of the digestive system, but food does not move into it. So it secretes juices into the small intestine. So just after the stomach, you've got the small intestine, and the first part is called the duodenum. The other part of the small intestine is called the ileum. So how to remember which is which? Remember that D for duodenum comes before I for ileum. So food goes through the small intestines and then it goes into the large intestines, which is also known as the colon. If you look at the bottom of this diagram here, you can see that there's a small structure called the appendix. So from the large intestine, food goes, if you look, it travels along that green structure, the large intestine, the colon, and then it passes into the rectum, where it's stored before being released out of the anus. Okay, so in summary, we looked at what is digestion, what is mechanical and what is physical digestion, how is food digested, which organs does food go through, and how does the alimentary canal fit into your body. And that concludes our lesson. The end.